Video on करो. Hey guys, welcome to the Umang. We'll start in 10 minutes, so don't go anywhere. Please stay tuned. We have a lot of good stuff coming up for you guys.
Let's do this. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Nehal Tiwari.
अबे जल्दी करने को.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Nehal Tiwari.
And I am Samvek Thakur. So let's talk about why Umang, why Avasar first, and then get on to the session we are here for, right? So due to the alarming world stats on suicide, that is 8 lakh per year, worsening mental health and anxious lifestyles of individuals, we felt a problem like Avasar is a major need. Our mission is to help and live a joyful life.
We help people by posting real-life stories of students who took the right steps and overcame their mental health struggles with self-help blogs, motivational videos, podcasts, and allowing them to connect to counselors on our platform. One such step of Avasar towards helping people live with sound mental health is the event for today, Umang, which is an Avasar for you to live a joyful life.
So let's talk more about Avasar on how we built it, right? Why we started, how we started, what have the challenges we have faced so far. So in the start, we started like putting out a research kind of thing on internet. We found that almost NCRB data states that 28 students has died just because of suicide every day in 2019. Now that's a horrific number, right? Almost one student every hour. Even while we are speaking, someone might be committing suicide. So why has not this been the major aspect of our lives? Why it has not been pointed out by anyone? So we thought, why not? We should do that, right? So we started and put it out some of our content, like writing stories and so. But before that, we thought of asking the students themselves that how are they feeling right now? So we put out a form, right, that was shared among all the students of like India. It was a pan-India survey, which almost 2,000 plus students participated. It was not just engineering, it was not just medical, it was everything. Engineering, medical, management, right? Law schools, everything. And we found out that 33% of our people were under depression. Like 33%, right? Out of 2,000 plus students, 660 people were under depression. And we then asked them, okay, do they know whom to reach out to? They had no answers. 56% among them didn't know whom to reach out to. So that is almost 330 students. So that is at point which we thought, okay, there's a need of such platform where we can come across and share our problems. We can come across and get motivation from them. So what we did, we started on 7th of June, we put out our first story. Now, these stories which we have been posting on Avasar has been mostly of the students who have had suicidal tendencies in the past, who might have tried committing suicide, but now are doing amazingly well. We know that it's really tough to overcome that, but it's not impossible. Our superheroes, and we love to call them as superheroes, these superheroes have actually come to a point where there was a huge depression in their life and now has succeeded. So why not put out their stories? Why not people under depression right now can relate to them and feel good about it? So we started putting out our stories and we shared among only 100 students. Just by sharing purpose, now by the 10th of September, we had almost 2,400 unique readers. That means that people actually are getting motivated through that. And even if we are able to save one life, just one life, why not do this? So we started this program and now we're developing a website, we're developing an application. We'd love different colleges, different institutes to participate with us in this movement, in this stride, what we can call to help people live a joyful life. We want to actually create a utopia of students where they can actually live a life where stress is not a part of it. Or if there is, we are there to help them. So let's look at what we have built so far, what we have done so far. Let's have a demo of our application, which will be soon released. It's not released yet, guys, which will be soon released. And you can have a look on how to use it and everything. Don't forget to like this video and to share this video with our friends who might be needing this. This session is going to be really, really great, something which might change your life. So do share this video with everyone right away and ask them to join. Meanwhile, let's have a look at our video.
Let's consider Richa, who has recently completed her 12th and joined the prestigious Institute of NIT Hamirpur. On her first day in the college, Richa gets to know about Avasar and she registers herself on the application.
She doesn't know whether she'll ever need this application, but our intent is to let her know that we are there for her just a tap away. After 2 weeks in the course, Richa feels a little homesick, and it's completely okay because it's her first time out of home. She recalls Avasar and decides to check it out. On her motivational feed, she finds some blogs, some self-help blogs by professionals and videos by motivational speakers about ways to deal with stress, and now she feels better. Now, after her first semester, she has joined a student club, but she is having a hard time managing in between her academics and club activities. She saw that many people were dealing with similar issues, and she felt relaxed to see that she wasn't alone and so many people are coming out to help her. 2 semesters have passed and Richa is doing amazingly well in her studies. She was involved in a relationship that went south and now she is terribly heartbroken. Her friend asks her to seek help from Mr. Shreyansh, who is his college counselor on Avasar's app. She looked at Shreyansh's profile and looking at the education and achievements, find him more than competent to deal with her right now. Richa finds the counseling really helpful and decides to rate and review Shreyansh so that others know how good he is. Let's consider Richa, who has recently completed her 12th and joined the prestigious institute of NIT Hamirpur. On her first day in the college, Richa gets to know about Avasar and she registers herself on the application. She doesn't know whether she'll ever need this application, but our intent is to let her know that we are there for her just a tap away. After 2 weeks in the course, Richa feels a little homesick, and it's completely okay because it's her first time out of home. She recalls Avasar and decides to check it out. On her motivational feed, she finds some blogs, some self-help blogs by professionals and videos by motivational speakers about ways to deal with stress.
How can you make the most of it? I hope everyone, I'll just share everything. So here's what you need to do. When you type Avasar.life, the link is available in the description below. You can definitely check that out just to be confirming with you that on how to open an application. I hope you guys know how to do that, but just to be sure about that. Yeah, just a second. I guess we have a technical. Just a second.
Perfect.
Hey, sorry about that because the students are committing suicide at an alarming rate, right? So this is told what they had, what they have gone through. You'll read and you'll know, man, there's so many problems in this world, and trust me, you guys are not alone. Trust me, you are not alone, right? The best part about it is you can overcome that. No matter what, you can overcome that. So do give a read to these stories, which I'll describe more about. Our mentors, so we are actually nothing without our mentors, right? To be very honest, they have helped us through in and throughout of this platform building and everything. First is obviously Sandeep Chadda sir, who's a product manager at Microsoft. Go check out his LinkedIn profile, and a highly experienced product manager. We can never forget Dr. Ajit Warwankar sir. He's a nationally acclaimed career coach and director. I'm sure you won't run out of it, right? And yeah, that's it, I guess. We need to get back to the mentors, and let's introduce our first mentor to you, right? Our first speaker of the session, right? It's Sandhya ma'am, right? So let's do it.
So we are glad to have with us our first speaker, Mrs. Sandhya Krishnan, who is an ICF certified wellness and mindfulness coach, as well as the founder of Dynamic Living.
So she has an exciting career. Like I must talk about it, and I'm actually very excited to talk about it. Across management, entrepreneurship, the media, retail, technology, and wellness, spanning over 20 years. She tied it all together and is now enjoying her work as an ICF certified life coach. Her focus areas with young professionals. Her focus area. Yeah. Okay. Just a second. Sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah. So she had an exciting career across management, entrepreneurship, the media, retail, technology, and wellness spanning over 20 years. She tied it all together and is now enjoying her work as an ICF certified life coach. Her focus areas have been mindfulness, productivity, wellness, mind and body, of course. She works with young professionals and entrepreneurs as well as with high achieving teams and uses many of years of study in Vedanta philosophy to create insights in her workshop and coaching practice. So I guess that's a lot about her, right? Let's stop here and let her speak. I wish you guys must be waiting and don't want to see my face anymore. So let's start with that. Ma'am, you're going live in a minute.
Sure, I'm all ready. Tell me when I need to turn on my camera.
Ma'am, you're live. You can turn on your camera and start. Ma'am, you're live. You can start.
Sambik, you're going to be asking me questions?
No. You will start with last 10 minutes will be questions.
Okay. Hi, guys. So today we're talking about an issue that is much in the media today, but also much misunderstood. We're going to be talking about overwhelm and anxiety. I am a wellness coach, as Samveg has said. So one of the issues that I get quite a lot is people actually facing what they believe is overwhelm, dealing with issues of anxiety, which are real, very real, and yet I'm here to explain how, in fact, we actually construct a lot of these issues. And neuroscience, the latest in neuroscience research has, in fact, shown us that. So yes, there are several conditions which do require medical intervention, the help and aid of a psychiatrist, where there is in fact a chemical imbalance in our body. But there's a lot that we can also do by ourselves and also seek help from professionals, because in the guesstimate of most healthcare professionals, mental health professionals, अगर जिंदगी में हमें कभी भी फ्लू हुआ है या सिर दर्द हुआ है, then there will be a time कि हमारे hormonal balance में कोई imbalance हो. तो if we can just see it as like that, और जब तक हमारा migraine चला ना जाए, हम लोग अपने बेस्ट पोटेंशियल पे परफॉर्म नहीं कर सकते हैं. वैसे ही हमें सोचना चाहिए कि जब तक हम लोग अपने जो अंदर के इश्यूज हैं, हमारे मन के अंदर जो भी ब्लॉक्स हैं या जो भी हमें ऐसे नीचे खींच रहा हो, जब तक हम लोग ये इश्यूज को एड्रेस नहीं करेंगे, हम लोग अपने फुल पोटेंशियल पे कैसे ऑपरेट करेंगे. बल्कि हमारे रिलेशनशिप्स पे, हमारे परफॉर्मेंस पे, इंडीड हमारे जिंदगी पे ही इतना असर हो सकता है. It's truly a tragedy. So simple question, the first question I always ask is, what is most important to you? कि लोग क्या बोलेंगे कि आप अपना जिंदगी नहीं जी पाएंगे. जब आपको कुछ होएगा, ये जो लोग के बारे में हम लोग सोचते हैं, वो लोग हमारा देखभाल थोड़ी ना करने आएंगे. And when you ask yourself, the first thing is to always just stop and ask. और ये सबसे बड़ा इशू या कारण भी है हमारा एंजाइटी या ओवरवेल्म की वजह से. I won't go into the medical definitions of any of these. That's outside the realm of my expertise. But I can tell you, as a wellness coach, and also based on what the latest research in neuroscience is, ऐसा है कि आजकल हमें हमारा हर रोज हमारा ऑलमोस्ट बॉडी में एक बजट जैसा रहता है. एक न्यूरोसाइंटिस्ट है लीसा फेलमन बैरेट, जिन्होंने काफी सारा रिसर्च किया है इस टॉपिक के ऊपर, एंड शी टेल्स अस दैट ये बॉडी बजट एक फाइनाइट सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी है. तो ये एनर्जी से ही हम लोग अपने पूरा दिन का सारे डिसीजंस लेते हैं और फंक्शंस भी करते हैं. मतलब ये एनर्जी हमें चाहिए हार्ट बीट के लिए, ब्रेथ लेने के लिए, डाइजेशन के लिए, और ऊपर से हमारे हंड्रेड्स एंड थाउजेंड्स ऑफ डिसीजंस जो हमारे ध्यान में भी कभी नहीं रहता है. आजकल ऑफ कोर्स वी हैव बीन टॉकिंग अ लॉट अबाउट दिस कि इतना हमारा इंफॉर्मेशन बॉम्बार्ड हो रहा है. ऐसा नहीं कि हम लोग बस पैसिवली ले रहे हैं. हम इट हैज टू गो इनटू द सेम ब्रेन, राइट? द सेम ब्रेन दैट्स टेलिंग आवर बॉडी टू ब्रीथ, द सेम ब्रेन दैट्स टेलिंग आवर बॉडी टू डाइजेस्ट. इट्स गेटिंग ऑल ऑफ दीज इनपुट्स. अंदर से हमारा ब्रेन ऑलमोस्ट ब्लाइंड जैसा रहता है. तो जो भी हम लोग इनपुट्स दे रहे हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ सेंसरी, इन टर्म्स ऑफ फूड, इन टर्म्स दैट्स नरिशमेंट, इन टर्म्स ऑफ रेस्ट, जिससे वो ब्रेन ऑलमोस्ट रिजुविनेट होता है, जिससे हाउसकीपिंग होता है, उससे ब्रेन डिसाइड करता है कि अच्छा ये स्टिमुलस मुझे अंदर लेना है कि नहीं. अच्छा टाइम नहीं है, अभी ऑलरेडी दूसरा ट्वीट आया, अभी तीसरा, अभी 30th ट्वीट आया, मेरे पास इतना सारा टाइम नहीं है ये सब फाइल करने के लिए ऑलमोस्ट मेरे मेमोरी में. तो ब्रेन क्या बोलता है कि अच्छा अभी मैं इसको इधर टेम्पररी स्टोरेज में मैं रखता हूँ और मैं ये सब फंक्शन में ध्यान देती हूँ. और अब अच्छा इधर से एक पिंग आया जो ऑलमोस्ट अलार्म जैसा है, या वाइब्रेट आया जो ऑलमोस्ट इलेक्ट्रिक करंट जैसा है. तो ब्रेन क्या सोचेगा, अरे ये तो कुछ अलार्म का बेल है, मैं उस पे पहले ध्यान दे दूं. तो ऐसा हमारा ब्रेन एकदम थक जाता है. एंड doing this day after day, more and more decisions, more and more input, less and less rest. आजकल के जो स्लीप थेरेपिस्ट होते हैं वो लोग बोलते हैं कि हमारा स्लीप का ऐसा स्लीप का भी बजट रहता है, हर एक चीज का बजट रहता है. एक्चुअली हमें ऐसे ही सोचना चाहिए कि हर एक चीज में बैलेंस शीट रहता है, और वो बैलेंस शीट अगर बैलेंस नहीं होता है तो कुछ तो गड़बड़ है हमारा धंधे में, बॉडी में, माइंड में, लाइफ में. तो ये जो स्लीप का भी बजट रहता है या बैलेंस रहता है कि हमें इतने सारे आवर्स ऑफ वेकफुलनेस, एंड the average adult, almost every adult needs between 7 to 9 hours of sleep for the entire neurological, physiological, coordinated functions to happen, जिससे हमारा बॉडी और माइंड का हाउसकीपिंग हो जाए. इतने टाइम में हम लोग हमारा पूरा अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं है अभी तक, लेकिन इतना तो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है कि मोर और लेस इतना जरूरी है. लेकिन हम में से पता नहीं कितने सारे लोग हैं जो लोग जिनको 7 hours भी मिलता है, forget 8 and 9, right? Especially when you're students, हम लोग सोचते हैं कि अच्छा 5 hours से काम चलाएंगे, और कभी कभी उतना भी नहीं है. बट वी डोंट रियलाइज कि इससे क्या होता है, एक डेफिसिट बिल्डअप होता है. और इवन फॉर द एवरेज कॉर्पोरेट वर्कर द डेफिसिट इज ऑलमोस्ट 3:1. कि ऐसा नहीं है कि हम लोग पूरा वीकेंड पे सो जाए और वो डेफिसिट फिलअप होगा. हमारा बॉडी भी ऐसा नहीं है, और ऐसे तो हम लोग करते भी नहीं हैं. ठीक है, तो ये सब वजह के ये सब कारणों की वजह से हमारा ऐसा बिल्डअप होता है. क्या बिल्डअप होता है? हमारे अंदर इतना सारा इंफॉर्मेशन, इतने सारे डिसीजंस, इतना सारा डिस्ट्रैक्शन, इतना सारा पुअर हार्मोनल बैलेंस. हमारा शुगर का मैनेजमेंट ठीक नहीं है, बिकॉज वी आर सडनली ईटिंग, वी आर गोइंग फॉर मेनी आवर्स ऑन कैलोरी डेप्रिवेशन, फ्यूल डेप्रिवेशन. फिर हमने क्या बोलते हैं उसको, ट्रिपल चॉकलेट संडे खा लिया, और हमारा इतना शुगर का सर्ज होता है बॉडी में. बॉडी को समझ में भी, हमारा अंधा ब्रेन को समझ में नहीं आता है कि क्या हो रहा है हमारे अंदर. तो वो इफेक्टिव डिसीजंस नहीं ले पाता है. और क्या होता है, वो ऑलमोस्ट पिक्चर ड्रॉ कर रहा है. अभी सोचो, ब्रेन पे इतना सारा असर हो रहा है, तो वो क्या पिक्चर ड्रॉ कर रहा होगा. ये डॉक्टर सुजन फेलमन बैरेट ने ये भी बोला है कि हमारे सारे इमोशंस जो हम लोग बोलते हैं, ओ आई एम फीलिंग सो सैड, ओ आई एम फीलिंग सो एंग्शियस, ये सब एक्चुअली हम में इनग्रेन नहीं है. ब्रॉडली हमारे वेरी बेसिक होते हैं कि प्लेजर, डिसप्लेजर, काम, एजिटेशन. वो ऑलमोस्ट 2 एक्सिस हैं. उनमें से कोई मिक्सअप में कोई भी सेंसेशन आता है ना, तो पहले ब्रेन बोलेगा कि अच्छा ये कैसे फील हो रहा है, हाँ मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है कि मैंने अच्छा आज 5 एपिसोड देखा गेम ऑफ थ्रोन्स का, अच्छा मुझे इतना अच्छा लग रहा है. तो ब्रेन बोलेगा चलो बेटा और देख ले. But we are not able to, because it's not drawing a picture for us, right? Because it's just saying, okay, I'm seeking pleasure. We all seek pleasure. हर एक mammal, bird, कीड़ा भी pleasure seek करता है almost. So we have to understand. So the same thing that the brain is saying that, oh, okay, so much information. Oh, look, the world is going to end. Oh, today corona cases gone up. Oh, my exams are coming here. Oh, I don't know if I'll get a job. ये सब information को लेके brain को उसका मतलब निकालना है, और मतलब निकालने के लिए ब्रेन को टाइम लगता है. और ये टाइम, ये रिसोर्सेज, ये थोड़ा फाइलिंग का टाइम हम लोग बिल्कुल ब्रेन को नहीं दे रहे हैं. और इसके वजह से हमारा कंस्ट्रक्ट जो है, हम लोग कंस्ट्रक्ट करते हैं एंजाइटी कि कैसे हमने देखा है बचपन में, अरे टीचर ने मुझे बुलाया और मुझे आंसर पता नहीं था, मुझे कैसे फील होता था. ब्रेन को वो याद है, तो ब्रेन बोलेगा अच्छा वो रिस्पॉन्स बुलाते हैं हमारे मेमोरी के अंदर से और इसको लगाते हैं. अच्छा चलो अभी हम लोग हार्ट रेट को बढ़ाते हैं, प्यूपल्स को डायलेट करते हैं, ब्रेथ को शैलो करते हैं, अच्छा इसको एंजाइटी बुलाते हैं, क्योंकि हमने ऐसा सीखा है. Brain is always making predictions based on what it believes is the best response possible for the current situation. So what is also happening in this is that when this overload happens, the brain is unable to use the maximum of our cognitive function. तो ब्रेन क्या करता है, डिफॉल्ट सेटिंग पे जाता है. हमारा चाइल्डहुड पे क्या होता था, जब ऐसा कुछ मेरे पास्ट में हुआ था, मैंने क्या किया था, उसको स्टैंडर्ड रिस्पॉन्स निकालता है. और बचपन में ना हम लोग इतना ओके नहीं होते हैं. आपने कभी देखा होगा कि हम लोग बच्चे से कोई टॉय ले तो बच्चा कैसे रोता है कि ऐसा ऑलमोस्ट कि जैसा the whole world is ending, right? As children, we do not have the capacity to balance out our responses. We simply have like these 4, right? Pleasure, displeasure, calm, agitation. ये चारों के अलावा हमारे पास और कुछ था ही नहीं. बाकी सब जो कॉन्स्ट्रक्ट्स, जो हम लोग प्रिडिक्शंस करते हैं, ये सब हम लोग सीखते हैं. अच्छा मेरी मम्मी तो ऐसी रोती नहीं है, अच्छा ये मेरा अंकल कितने कामली काम करते हैं, ये सब हम लोग सीखते हैं. और कभी कभी मतलब जो सीखते हैं हमारे एनवायरनमेंट के ऊपर है और थोड़ा बहुत हमारा पर्सनालिटी के ऊपर. और जितना हम लोग को एहसास होता है बचपन में कि हम लोग सेफ थे, या अच्छा आई एम रिकग्नाइज्ड फॉर हु आई एम ओके एज आई एम. लेकिन मैं एक राइडर या प्रोवाइजो देना चाहती हूँ कि प्लीज आप अपने पेरेंट्स को ब्लेम मत कीजिए. जो भी हमारे पेरेंट्स ने किया है वो ज्यादा करके अपने बेस्ट इंटेंशन से, या जितना उनके पास इंफॉर्मेशन था, या उनका ही अपना सोशलाइजेशन और इग्नोरेंस के वजह से किया होगा. तो अगर हमारे पास बेस्ट पेरेंट्स भी होता था, हम लोग फिर भी नॉट ओके होते थे, क्योंकि हम लोग स्कूल में जाते थे और स्कूल में देखते थे कि अरे ये तो मुझसे बहुत अच्छा भागता है, अरे इसके मार्क्स तो मेरे मार्क्स से बहुत अच्छे हुए. तो we end up always feeling not okay. So but as adults we realize we are not vulnerable, that we have cognitive abilities, that we can reason out things, that we can delay instant gratification for longer term benefits, that sometimes we have to incur little bit of immediate pain, like when we are embarking on an exercise program, because we know it's going to give us longer term benefits. We know we might have to keep our weight under control because it is going to protect us against many diseases that we cannot see in the past. All this doesn't happen from our blind brain. This needs cognitive thinking. This needs very conscious decision making. So I'm happy to start with the questions. So really, I'll just end by saying that the bottom line is that you need to be aware of what is happening within you at any given point of time. This is why you've been reading in the newspaper that mental health experts are always saying, cut down on the amount of news. Everything that you watch, everything is your input, everything that you are consuming. You're not just consuming food, you're consuming sensory perceptions, you're consuming information, you're mirroring the emotions of the person in front of you. If your TV news presenter is screaming and saying that, oh, what is happening? You are feeling all of those things. When you're watching a show on TV and somebody's snowboarding down a mountain, even your heart stops, your breath will also speed up, right? Now that can be a good thing, or it can be a bad thing, or I won't say good and bad, again, those are labels, but you need to understand whether it's helping you or not, especially at a time like this. So this is why we say, do fewer things, take a moment, take some time for your self-care, prioritize yourself, give yourself proper rest, fuel your body well, fuel your mind well, and all of our mindfulness practices essentially ye hote hain कि please bring us back to the present moment, so that we are not jumping into anxieties or hopes for the future, or jumping into the regrets of the past. अरे मैंने ऐसा क्यों बोला था, अरे उसने मुझे ऐसा क्यों किया, ये वो सब. All of this jumping back and forth is tiring your poor little brain. All of the multitasking that we're doing, we are not multitasking. We are simply rapidly switching from one task to another. It is going to tire your brain. Long story short, please give your brain, your body some time to rest. Please nourish it well, and we can overcome a lot of what we construe today as anxiety, as overwhelm. Okay, so I see the questions are coming in, so let me take a few. Jeremy says, can good mental health, will it be able to change society's perspective towards women, to empower them, respect them? So very powerful question, Jeremy. So basically, a lot of our socialization, this is the position of women in society, aisa karna chahiye, this is how women should behave, this is how the husband should behave towards the wife. ये सब हमारा socialization brain से आता है, जो ये लोग क्या कहेंगे वाला brain, और वो काफी unthinking brain है. So you're absolutely right. When we are able to awaken consciousness, it's simply asking, Acha, my father told me that I must not let my wife work. Why? To ask that why, you have to have your cognition available to you. You have to be able to think things through. जो भी हमने सुना है, हमें पूछना चाहिए अपने आप से. Okay, if you can't go and ask daddy, at least ask yourself that ऐसा क्यों? हम लोग बरसों से ऐसे कर रहे हैं, लेकिन क्या ये टाइम के लिए सही है? Is this the right thing for me to be doing? Why did this rule even come up? My wife is working just as hard as I am. Why does she also have to do the housework? Or to be able to asking questions is an act of cognition. So absolutely, I am extremely hopeful, and it doesn't even require that all of society change. It is my hope that if a few of us awaken this consciousness, we can. The good thing about conscious thinking is that it is hugely influential. There was one Mahatma Gandhi, and he was able to get the following of hundreds of thousands behind him in a way that 10 cruel leaders who said, come, let's go fight, we'll be like, we'll fight today, but tomorrow, are you still having that loyalty? But today, 70 years later, we still feel that tremendous loyalty, right? So it is my genuine hope, and I'm very optimistic that few of us, if we are able to awaken our consciousness, awaken our compassion, awaken our sense of enlightenment, we can truly change society. So thank you for that question. Rajshri, I didn't get the joining in the company where I'm placed, though they have provided a date, but it's getting hard day by day to endure patience. Kindly help me with your tips. So, Rajshri, my heart goes out to you. One of the biggest reasons for anxiety that we have today is uncertainty of outcomes. Abhi hamara brain hamara caveman brain se बहुत डिफरेंट नहीं है. Our brain is not evolved very much in the last 50,000 years. तो हमें सोचना चाहिए कि हम लोग think that you're a cave woman, okay? You are in your cave and you're thinking, मैं आज बाहर जाऊं कि नहीं, मुझे भूख तो लगी है, मुझे खाना तो ढूंढना है, लेकिन आज पता नहीं बाहर टाइगर है कि सांप है, कि आज मैं रास्ते से मतलब I'll get lost. So when our brain is actually tuned to to prepare us for uncertainty of outcomes. We get anxious because if we are uncertain, if we don't know that the tiger is going to be outside, should we not be ready? And how are we ready? We should be ready to either run away, or we should be ready to fight the tiger, or quickly hide and absolutely freeze, right? All of these cause within us, again, elevated heart rate, pupils dilating, we're going to start sweating, shallow breathing. All of this is preparing us for that uncertainty. So it is an extremely uncomfortable feeling. But what we need to tell ourselves is, yes, this is a job. I don't know if it's going to come to me or not. It is uncertain times. But is it going to kill me? We need to sometimes just sit down and think, ask ourselves, what is the worst case scenario? कि मुझे job ही नहीं मिल जाए, तो मुझे क्या करना चाहिए? Do I start looking for another job? Should I wait for a week? Eventually, Priyanshi, Rajshri, we always need to be comfortable with uncertainty. दुनिया में बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो हमें we just don't know the answers, and we don't even know, like even science has not been able to find it, right? हमारे पास superstition क्यों है? क्योंकि हम लोग हेट करते थे कि ऐसा कोई चीज हो जिसका हमारे पास जवाब ना हो. Okay, so will I get married to the man of my dreams? I don't know. Science has not been able to understand causation, correlation. तो हमने क्या किया? We went to astrologer, and astrologer said, हाँ चल बेटा, you do this now, then you'll get the man of your dreams. So at least we feel like we're doing something, then we can be assured of the answer. But we understand now that we cannot actually predict these sort of things. And again, a mindfulness practice, just a little bit of meditation, little bit of calm practiced regularly can help you stay in the present. It can help you be okay with the anxiety, because there are 100,000 things that we don't know. But the few things that we do know, we can then use our full brain power to decide, abhi hame next step kya lena chahiye? What is the best outcome that I can make for myself? What courage can I get? हम कुछ नया करने के लिए या कुछ alternate path ढूंढने के लिए हमें हौसला भी चाहिए. We need courage, right? And again, we won't get that courage if we're anxious and we have too many things happening in our mind. So I hope that helps you answer that question. Priyanshi is asking, I think to some extent our culture is also responsible for some of such irresponsible activities, but not fitting in also leads to distress, especially in a new place. Where do I find that balance? Priyanshi, yes, absolutely. Think again of our socialization, okay? तो हम लोग सब we are a gang of cavemen, okay? So how do we know that and उस टाइम पे इतना सारा खाना भी नहीं था. We had not even started agriculture. There was no surplus food. And we don't know where the tiger is going to come from. We don't know who is going to kill us. We don't, so many uncertainties, right? So safety किस चीज में था? Can we even sleep safely at night? We can only sleep if we form a group and we can trust that group. And in that group, one person will be keeping guard, one person will keep the fire lit, 5 of us will sleep at the same time. So how do we form groups? We form group of people exactly like us. He's like me. Okay, come, you join my group and we can all be safe from the tiger together. Okay, that's typically how herd mentality has developed. Lekin, aaj to it's the same. That's why I said socialization brain is not a thinking brain. Lekin, जो लोग हम में से हैं जो सोचना चाहते हैं, जो हमारे लिए कुछ ऑथेंटिक रिलेशनशिप्स या टाइज जो हम लोग ढूंढ रहे हैं, और लाइक यू सेड, इफ यू कम टू अ न्यू प्लेस, it sometimes is very hard to say that, oh, please, can I also join your group? If that person, if you don't look like them, if you don't talk like them, if you're not exactly like them in some other way, you don't have the same political ideology as them, people may reject you. But you need to ask yourself, do I want to be one of the herd? Or can I form a few genuine connections? And this is somewhere where, again, our a safety brain will say, acha, they're all so different. I know they will never accept me. So better I don't even try. So that is our brain that's trying to keep us safe. Why take a chance and fear rejection? Why take a chance where people may make fun of you? Why take a chance where somebody may point a finger at you? So better to stay safe, better to stay alone. I'll just call my mummy once a day and I don't need any new friends. That's again your fear-based thinking. That's your unthinking brain that's trying to keep you safe. But you need to understand that with nothing ventured, nothing gained. So again, for that courage to go out there and form some genuine connections, you don't need a gang of 10 women in a new city that you've moved to. You may need just 2 friends. And even the kind of friends, you may have different friends. The shopkeeper below your building may be the person who helps you out. He may be the one who's collecting your parcels. He may be the one who's telling you that kal koi aaya tha, ye chitti aaya tha aapke liye. Then there might be somebody who's like an uncle who's in your city. He's the place you can go to for a nice Sunday afternoon meal. So who we form relationships with does not in fact have to be like us or exactly like us at all. It's really more how we bring value to each other's lives, how we are able to show up for each other, and how we show kindness and compassion for each other. That is what you should be looking for in forming bonds. And yes, you can. The other way to do it is to also find activities that you enjoy that are fulfilling, and that's where you'll find people who are like you but also maybe in a little bit more aware state of mind. So for example, if you like reading books, join a book club. Or if you like trekking, go find out if they're trekking groups. You'll be pretty sure that everybody who's in that trekking group will be of a certain mindset, that they're curious, they want to meet new people, they want to try different things. So you have to go a little bit outside of your comfort zone, but understand that these are broadly the rules that will work. I wish you all the very best. It's not an easy place to be in, but it could also be the most exciting. It's to new beginnings. All right? Good luck. Sandeep says, ma'am, this was very informational. Thank you, Sandeep. Glad I could help you. How important is self-awareness in mental health and happiness? That's a very powerful question. It is obviously the obvious answer is it's everything. But I will add a rider to that, which is that, so yes, we need to, when we are feeling our feelings of anxiety, our feelings of stress, our feelings of overwhelm, anger, in fact, any feeling that it's basically our brain is giving us a message. There's a sandesa aa raha hai types, okay? So we need to listen to this message. And rather than ignore it, anybody who tells you, "Arey, chala jayega, just forget about it, apne aap," it's telling you something. Even something as like, oh my God, why am I snoring so much? Have I suddenly put on weight? Is that why I'm snoring? That's your body trying to tell you something, right? Why are my periods going completely haywire? Why am I not feeling any kind of joy in my life? Why is my stomach always troubling me? All of these are your body giving you messages. So unless you spend a little bit of time just checking in with yourself several times a day, saying, what am I feeling? What is this burning sensation I'm feeling in my chest? Is it gas? Is it anxiety? Is it that, something spicy that I ate? To do all that, we need to give it a little bit of time. But there is one thing I will add, which is that sometimes, particularly when we are struggling with like a condition, but also a lot of us live with certain beliefs. ऐसा है कि हमारे जैसे कि इंस्टाग्राम पे फिल्टर्स होते हैं ना, हमारे ब्रेन पे भी फिल्टर्स होते हैं. तो sometimes you can only see the world through that filter. अभी जो भी circumstances हो हमारे childhood में या जो भी है, कि हमने ऐसा हमारा blind brain ने सीखा है कि अच्छा all authority figures are very unfair. हमारे बचपन में कोई प्रिंसिपल या टीचर होगा जिन्होंने बहुत अनफेयरली ट्रीट किया हो हमें, और हमारा चाइल्ड ब्रेन ने सीखा है कि हाँ, ऑल टीचर्स आर अनफेयर, ऑल अथॉरिटी फिगर्स आर अनफेयर. अभी वो फिल्टर ऐसा एडल्टहुड में आया है कि हम लोग वी कांट सी अदर देन थ्रू द फिल्टर, वी कैन ओनली सी थ्रू दैट फिल्टर. नाउ Einstein ne, actually I don't think Einstein said it, but chal, when in doubt just attribute the quote to Einstein. तो शायद Einstein ने बोला होगा कि you can't solve a problem with the same brain that created it. तो अगर हम लोग वर्ल्ड को पूरा देख रहे हैं ये फिल्टर के थ्रू, हमें कैसे अवेयरनेस भी नहीं होगा कि हम लोग फिल्टर से देख रहे हैं. हम लोग सोच रहे हैं कि यही असलियत है, बाप रे मैंने देखा, अच्छा ये मेरा सोसाइटी का मैनेजर ऐसा है, हाँ सी द वर्ल्ड इज राइट, माय व्यू इज करेक्ट. वी ऑलवेज लुक फॉर व्यूज that substantiate, that corroborate, that confirm our viewpoint. But is our viewpoint absolute? Is our viewpoint the truth always? we may not be the best judge of that, because we carry these filters, we carry these beliefs, and these are very often limiting beliefs. And sometimes, like I said, if there's a chemical imbalance in our body, we are incapable of joining those dots, we are incapable of reaching these particular conclusions, we are incapable of creating these neural pathways for ourselves. So yes, sometimes we do need somebody to either hold a mirror up to us, sometimes we do need somebody to question us. It's not just like, dil halka kare to a friend and say, haan, sab theek ho jayega. You do need a very active process of inquiry. And this is what mental health professionals, that's the only job that we do. In fact, ऐसा हम लोग सलाह नहीं देते हैं, हम लोग advice नहीं देते हैं. It's really, we are just saying, oh, this belief of yours, tell me where it came from. Then you'll start to think, in fact, is every authority figure like that? Like that's how you start to question your beliefs. And the more of these sort of conclusions or beliefs or fallacies that you're able to drop from your life ना, उतना ही हम लोग फ्री हो जाते हैं. और जब हम लोग फ्री हैं, जब हम लोग अपना ही देखभाल और ख्याल रख सकते हैं, the resulting feeling is happiness. The resulting state is good mental health. So is my time up, Samveg?
Ma'am, that is never up. So because that was really, I'm sure like almost all of us could actually relate to what you said. Like the greatest extent we could, to be very honest. And I hope almost everyone's question was answered. That is the most important thing, I guess. A few were left, but don't worry, anyone who's watching, if this is not, your question was not taken in the current chat, or if it was not answered, don't worry about that. We'll definitely take up in the next coming session. Don't worry about that. So first of all, thank you so much, ma'am. I know your timeline is super busy, but you took out time. Like half an hour is really big for us, right? So thank you so much for telling us, coming here and actually helping so many people out live, right? To be so 70 people are watching right now, so that's great. Everyone's coming on Saturday, so we really appreciate our viewers as well to taking their time out on weekend, especially you, ma'am, right? You also came on a weekend. Pleasure. Great time for you, and you came, so thank you so much for that. And any few words you want to say?
No, that's it, guys. I am sorry, I just saw that I had missed a couple of things. Like I said, self-care, regret is futile. Everything that's happened till now what has brought us to this point in our lives. We need to accept that there is, as of now, even Einstein has not found a way for us to go back in time. So part of a mindfulness practice is to say that here we are today. From this moment on, what are the choices I can make to make my life better? So don't worry about the past. Don't have regrets about the past. Just tell yourself, because it's taking away energy from you being able to make the most conscious decision you can today. So take your life into your own hands. Live your life authentically, not by anybody else's standards, and you will be a powerhouse and hopefully contented and a force of goodness in this world. Thank you all so much for having me here today. All the best.
Well, it's our pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am.
My pleasure, guys.
Okay, great. Guys, if you like the session, do like the video, right? Subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of sessions coming up in the coming months, so don't worry about that. We have everything covered. So we're looking forward to have you in coming sessions as well. With us is Usha, ma'am. She is here right now. So let me give a bit of introduction about her. Right.
So we are delighted to have a second speaker, Mrs. Usha Raghhunathan, ma'am, who is the National Vice President, Coaching Council, Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. She focuses on coaching, consulting, and teaching in premier MBA schools around business transformation, strategy, people, and leadership. We all have mental health issues at some point or the other in life. But how often do we seek our professional help? Do we need therapy and counseling only when we don't feel well mentally? To answer all these questions, we would now request ma'am to take over the session.
Hello, Usha, ma'am. You are live. Thank you so much for bringing out the time. And life is your life. It's all yours. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Samveg, and thank you for that introduction. The interesting thing about the 2020 World Mental Health Day is they're talking about mental health for all. And in the context of the times that we are living through, the COVID 19, and how all of us have been under lockdown for long periods of time, our lives have been disturbed in so many ways, apart from our routines, even the opportunities we were seeking, the kind of resources we had access to, the social relationships, the people we could connect with easily, everything has been affected. So, the whole point of World Mental Health Day this year being for everyone is, I think, critically important and a very important and big change in the way people in the world are approaching mental health. I would like to talk about one particular aspect. If it is for everybody, and if we are equally responsible for our mental health as we are for our physical health or our emotional health. Health is a 360-degree concept now. And as we move away more and more from working with our bodies to working with our minds, the stress on the mind is very heavy. And we need to take care of it. And just as exercise for the body every day is important, and we all know this, we may not do any of it. So similarly, we know that there are many, many tools available for taking care of our mental health, but we may not use any of them, right? Seeking out a counselor or a therapist, or in extreme cases, making sure that you go to the psychiatrist, because there are mental health issues which respond well to medication, and there's nothing to be ashamed of, and we will deal with the reality of the world. But the truth today is that more and more people are open to seeking help. And the current generation, the youth, one of the reasons I'm loving being involved in this initiative and with the organization's work is the openness with which we are having these dialogues. And it is so important that we have these conversations in a very simple way, just like fat shaming has become politically incorrect, it should be acceptable that if someone has mental health issues, they seek help and they work on it for themselves. They build their own awareness, and they should have easy access to these conversations. Therapy, in many ways, is about conversations. And in a socially isolated world, as we move towards working more with our minds, but also more with technology, our interaction is really with a device. Right now, I'm talking to all of you, but all that I can see is my own screen, right? And some little boxes. So I don't know if I'm talking to myself or other people. The more we get socially isolated, the more we have challenges with our mental and emotional health. And this is a reality because human beings have grown to succeed by being social beings. Each of us do not have the strength to achieve everything by ourselves. So we associate with others, we collaborate with others, we work with others to achieve larger goals which help society in many ways, whether it is economically or in any other form that we want to offer our contributions, right? So you can be an engineer, you can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be a chartered accountant, you can be a community developer, you can be an artist. All of our work is connected to society in some way or the other, at the least, because we have to be economically viable and we have to offer our services and our products to the world so that they reward us in some way, and we can first, but also, like I said, take a 360-degree view of our lives and say, what else do I want in my life? A lot of the time, your parents happy? Are you a good son or daughter only if you make your parents happy? What does it involve being a good son or daughter? If you're in a relationship, if you're in a partnership, if you're married, is it about making the other person happy? What makes the other person happy? How do we even know when that other person will be happy? And what are the things we have to do to make the other person happy? We don't have the answers to these questions. So I think we have the wrong end of the stick, and it's adding a lot of stress to our life, to our being. And when we decipher these questions, previous generations, we used to call these existential questions. But now existential questions seem to have become a part of everyday life for all human beings, because the world is constantly changing. There is no certainty. There is no guarantee. There is no predictability. And these are things which comfort human beings. Too much change, too much uncertainty, somehow the human mind does not, and the body does not seem to be equipped to deal with such rapid change. And the more you really understand things much more, you have more perceptiveness than other people. But this emotional skills are a different ball game. So in a space where counseling or therapy is happening, what you have is the ability to have a conversation with yourself. So you can pick that skill up at any point, first with somebody who's trained and skilled, so that you learn those tools, and then you can use it for yourself throughout your life. You learn how to understand when your cognition is getting distorted, it's affecting your emotions, and you're responding in ways either by withdrawing, the fight or flight syndrome, or by getting aggressive. So how do you not do either and stay assertive and have those conversations? The other form of therapy, and psychotherapy or the talking therapy, is just one form. So I really want all of you to explore art therapy, music therapy. Yoga is a great tool. Anything which engages at least one of your senses, because the way we understand the world and relate to the world is through our five senses. What happens in mental illness is we shut down the inputs from these five senses, and we become numb in many ways, and we are not able to connect or relate. So therapy here would slowly help you re-engage with the world through your senses. So when you choose art, if you're a very kinesthetic person, you can choose sports, you can choose running, you can choose swimming, you can choose dance, choose anything. And because, again, like I say, you're very intelligent people, you will know which is a sense through which you take the world in the most, right? So for some of us, that is the sense of smell and the taste. And then we end up binge eating, seeking comfort through food. So be aware and conscious. And anything overdone is a problem. But to regain balance, to regain centeredness, we need to be able to take our mind away from the internal, inward-looking conversations without any relationship to the external world, and re-engage with the world. The soft, gentle, comforting, risk-free, unchallenging way to do it is through therapy. So find out if you like visual art, so go for art. If you're an auditory person, go for music. If you're a kinesthetic person, go for dance. It doesn't matter whether you cycle 20 kilometers, buy a cycle, go for cycling. Yeah, but seek to gently help yourself by re-engaging with your senses, and through your senses, re-engaging with the world. And as you gain more balance internally, you'll find it easier to re-engage with other human beings, and then finally with your tasks and your productivity, whether that is education or work. Now, this is the progression of how you can connect back to the world. I think I can take questions somewhere. Where can I see the questions?
Ma'am, you can see in the chat. I'll read it for you. Right. Okay,
And
ma'am.
tell me,
Yeah,
tell
sure.
me who's asking the question also.
Sure, ma'am. Sandeep has asked, ma'am, if my son is having depression, what conversations do I have with him to comfort him, and how do I bring him out of the abyss?
Sandeep, when people are withdrawn from the world, our words don't make much sense. I don't know how old your son is, but at any age, one of the most comforting things for human beings is a touch. When some people are in deep depression or experiencing mental health challenges, they do not like touch. Depending on why they are in that space, they may not like touch. Then just being in the same room and being quiet and being with that person completely, without being distracted, without being impatient, without being restless, because we are very engaged with this world and there is always work to be done. But the person who is going through mental illness is hoping that you will just be there for them and connect with them. And that itself is huge comfort. So first try to be there for the person, and the conversation is very, very secondary. But if you have a great relationship with your son and you know the right words to bring comfort and confidence and trust and peace, use those. So the need for a person with mental illness is quiet space, a more gentle space, because the demands of the world have become too much for them. I hope that helped answer. We can always ask other questions.
Great, ma'am. Amrita Angappa has asked, why do I feel blank and immovable when I am asserted with certain tough tasks or deadlines? How can I fight panic attacks and anxiety attacks?
Beautiful. So, Amrita, right? Amrita,
Yes, ma'am.
no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Amrita.
So, Amrita, when you become immobilized, and we use words simply, but let me use them with fear, immobilized with fear, performance anxiety, wanting to do very well, but feeling that you don't have the time or the intelligence. All of us underestimate our capabilities, but let's put that aside for the moment. Now, what do you do when you feel so immobilized? Which is why I talked about therapy, right? There are these mandalas. I'm just giving examples. You should find your own thing. Mandalas, coloring books for adults. If you pay complete attention to a small triangle and you color that in, and you use your own, delight in whatever colors you want, it's a way of withdrawing from the stimuli which is creating anxiety for you. Right? First, you have to soothe yourself. When there are very small babies, mothers always soothe them when they're crying. They stop them from crying before they feed them, because the child can't feed even if it is hungry, if it is in a state of stress. The crying is creating stress, so they can't feed. So you have to first soothe yourself, comfort yourself, find any way that you know will work for you to do that. Once you know how to soothe and comfort yourself, then you can engage your senses and slowly you can go back to the task which is creating anxiety for you, and seek help with the task which is creating anxiety, because there are other people who are able to do it more easily. So if you ask 6 or 7 people, hey, how do you do this? And you find that they are doing it with very different methods from you. So it gives you 2 options. You may know that you have particular strengths and you are using only that one strength. You're overplaying that strength and you're not exploring other possible ways to do it. The other is, you may think that is the only strength you have and you don't know how to do the other ways, and it's very difficult for you to learn the other ways. But this is experimentation. The moment you start treating life more experimentally, then your ability to deal with challenges and be more productive and do a good job increases. But first, comfort and soothe yourself. It's very, very important to be quiet before you can be productive.
I hope that answers the question. Another question is grieving over something you lose or something you're working hard but you're not able to get it makes you an attention seeker? And to follow up this question, it's easy for people to say to open up, but the person who's dealing with it, it's hard for them. And what if someone doesn't want to share anything with anyone?
Well, that's a lot of questions. Samay, whose question is this?
This is Ananya's question. Is grieving over something you lose or something you're working hard, but you're not able to get it? What makes you an attention seeker?
Grieving is a very, very important process. And one of the ways in which all of us, and now, we have some 5-6 generations living together, but all of us in the modern world have withdrawn our emotions from almost everything, including grieving and joy. And they are all two sides of the same coin. If you can't grieve, you can't be joyous. If you can't be joyous, you can't grieve. So we have withdrawn our attention from human emotions because we think emotions interfere with our functioning. On the contrary, withdrawing ourselves from the emotions makes us less functional and less efficient and less capable of dealing with the challenges of life. Grieving is a very important process. Find spaces in which you can grieve. And one of the advantages of being online is almost the whole world is available to us. You will surely find a support group for people in grief. Attention, if somebody says you are attention seeking when you're grieving, or they are overwhelmed by your emotions because they cannot deal with it, it is because they are personally uncomfortable. Not everybody is equipped or skilled or experienced in dealing with other people's emotions, especially very strong, powerful, deep emotions. And only you know the depth of your grief, because that depends on the depth of your relationship with the person or the task which you have lost. But it is always nice to have people who are not experiencing things as deeply as you, because they bring you out of that space and say, hey, come on, I understand what you're feeling, but why don't you direct your attention at something else? They're trying to help you, but maybe you're not ready to come out of that space yet, and that is fine. So go ahead and find a space where you can grieve. For some people, it's a week. For some people, it's a day. For some people, it's a year or two. It doesn't matter. It's really up to you. And there are many ways of grieving. There is very quiet grieving. There is noisy grieving. There is grieving where you need company and other people to grieve with you. And you're like, you don't care about me, because when I'm grieving, all you are thinking about is the next happy thing for yourself. So you should understand what you want and go get that. But also understand that other people have different abilities and strengths, and not everybody can deal with the depths of your feeling. So maybe you want to journal your feelings, you want to write a diary, you want to write poetry, like the previous question. Don't be immobilized, because that does not help you. It's a withdrawal from what you need to do. So get engaged with the emotion that you're feeling. It is fine to feel that emotion. And it's equally fine to feel anger or shame or discouragement or deep sadness. All emotions are fine. But withdrawing from the emotions prematurely shuts you down. And then you become dysfunctional.
Okay, ma'am. I hope that answers her question. The next question is by Ujjwal Sharma. Ma'am, I'm too much insecure about people's opinions. What can I do for that? I guess this is the most common question you would be getting, because I guess we all can relate to it.
I'm sure I can relate to it because I experienced it also, right? So, So the song helped me a lot. And somebody sang it to me when I was going through this. I was trying to make a big life decision. And obviously nobody wanted me to take that decision. They're like, why are you going to be doing that? Blah, blah, blah. You know how the world is. They think they know better for you, whatever you want to do in your life. So this man sang for me. He said, Kuch to log kahenge, logon ka kaam hai kehna. So if they have a tongue, they will speak. But that doesn't mean that if you have 2 years, you have to listen. Kehne do, because you know that story of the donkey and the father and the son, right? So if the donkey was walking alone, somebody said, "Ye kitne pagal hai." They have a donkey and they're walking. So the father put the son on the donkey, and then somebody said, "Ye kitna ganda bacha hai." So poor old father is walking, and he's happily sitting on the donkey and going. And then so the father sat, and the son was walking, and somebody said, "What kind of a father is this person? He's sitting on the donkey while the poor son is walking." And then they both took the donkey and put the donkey on their head, and they walked. So obviously everybody laughed, saying, "Ye kya ho raha hai? Gadhe ko sar pe utha ke chal rahe ho. Surely you should know how to use a donkey better than that." People will always talk. Now, what do we do about people talking? Know what you want in your life and go do it. Biggest need in human beings is acceptance. Acceptance. If we are not accepted, we feel rejected. And rejection is a very hard feeling. One of the toughest jobs in the world is a sales job, because everybody is rejecting you. They're not rejecting you, they are rejecting your product or service. But the salesperson who knows that it's not a personal rejection, that person does not need that product or service or experience, and they're saying no, and they have a right to say no, right? So when people say no to you, they are coming from their knowledge, their experience, their understanding, their fears, their insecurities, their successes. They're coming from their life. You are not living their life. So you can listen to that. It is great input. Then you use your intelligence to process it, and you use your courage to step out into a space where you don't know whether you're going to succeed or fail, but it is fine. It's your life. Go do it. Just go do it. It does not matter. There has never been a time in humanity's existence that people have not talked about others. I don't know. Maybe it's part of the socialization process. Maybe it's part of the social construct where we seek again comfort and security. And if somebody is too different and doesn't fit in, it creates discomfort in us. To soothe ourselves and to make us comfort, not feel that discomfort, we will tell the other person, "Ye kya kar rahe ho?" So when we laugh at other people who are different from us, that's exactly what we seek to do. And that is why there are jokes against communities, because they are different and we are uncomfortable with their difference and we don't understand them, and they are not human beings like us we can relate to, which is nonsense. Of course, they are human beings like us, but it is more comforting to laugh or comment or judge or criticize and walk away than try to understand the person and build a relationship. We don't need to be part of the fodder for that social machine. Please go and do what you want, and don't worry about approval and once you're successful, it doesn't matter what you're successful in, right? Then people will appreciate you. Look at all of us watching every stand-up comedy which is available. I'm sure none of those people had an easy life with everybody telling them how foolish they are and what they're doing, wasting their lives. And now we are not looking at film stars, right? We are watching comedy shows on YouTube and Amazon Prime and everywhere that we can find it. Just go live your life.
Just one last question. It's from Pragya Pandey. Ma'am, there are times when I keep thinking about future, and due to this, I'm not able to focus properly at the present. Can you help me with your tips?
Yeah, because we are all born in India, there's a whole philosophy, and everybody has access to all of this knowledge now about not being in the past or not worrying about the future and living in the present. Maybe it's easier said than done. One trick I have found is to focus on my breath. My breath is completely in the present, right? It has nothing to do with my past or my future. So when I just watch my breath, I can bring my attention back to the present and attention back to the task. And worrying does not help you do better. The thing in life is we are all seeking to do well. We are all seeking to win. We are all seeking to succeed. We are all seeking to be amazing people. But stress and anxiety makes us not functional or productive. So again, back to my first kind of recommendation, that use any form of therapy, any tool, any technique. If meditation works for you, wow, hallelujah. If your meditation doesn't work for you, go for a run. If running doesn't work for you, go for a swim. If none of this works for you, go for adventure sports, anything which will help you live in the moment, in the present, because it needs your complete attention for you to be able to do it. And take that learning from those activities back into your work and know, just as for all those activities, the only reality is in the moment. That particular assignment, in that assignment, that particular paragraph, break it down. When you write 50 words and you get started, the next 50 will flow. When the 100 words are done, the 150 words will flow. If it's a 3,000 page word paper, you cannot get to 3,000 words without doing the first 150 or 300, right? So the only way to conquer the world, conquer a project, conquer a product, conquer an assignment, anything you want to do, is to pay attention to it right now and do the best you can in that moment. You cannot do more than that, because that's all we have. With whatever strength we have, with whatever intelligence we have, with whatever courage we have, with whatever creativity we have, we pour that into that work. You will automatically see beautiful stuff flowing out of you. And it doesn't matter if it takes 3 years of practice. If you're in medicine, it'll take you 12 or 15 years of practice. It doesn't matter, right? If you are redecorating a car, I'm sure there's a right word for it. It takes a certain amount of time to become skilled in that, right? So give it the time. Give it dedicated time for becoming skilled. Work at becoming skilled. And work is becoming skilled. It is not being skilled and putting out the best thing in the world at the first attempt. None of us would work for 10 years, 15 years, 30 years if we could do it in the first 30 days, right? So the whole process of our life is about becoming more and more skilled in some activity which we want to be better at. And sometimes it's part of the process, it's not the end result. But if you don't involve yourself effectively in the process, you will not get the end result. So obviously, if you are deeply distressed, seek help. But like they're saying today, mental health is for everybody. And for all of us, let us seek to engage with life and be more joyous with all our senses. Because then we can deal with everything else.
I hope that answers everyone's questions. Few questions are still remaining, but we'll take them with the next speaker, I guess.
Very happy to reply to those questions. You can forward them to me some way.
Sure, ma'am. I will. I definitely will. And thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. I know you have crazy busy schedule. We had a talk last week only, right? You had a crazy.
Don't believe it. I have a session which is muted here on my laptop.
I can totally understand, ma'am. I can totally understand, and thank you so much for joining us and giving us your time. Again, thanks to our viewers as well. They have been constantly viewing us on a weekend, on a Saturday. They've spent time. You have come on.
Hey, all of you, please subscribe to this channel, share it with others, like it. They are doing very, very valuable work. I'm very happy to be associated with them because it requires courage and clarity and so much collaboration to make this happen. People spread the word. It's good work and we all need this happening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. It really means a lot coming from you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care, ma'am. Take care. So I hope you guys have been enjoying. Our final speaker is remaining. So we're glad to inform that the third speaker is Miss Shritica Joshi, ma'am, who's a counseling psychologist and an emotional wellness coach. She's a counseling psychologist with 3 years of experience working with children, adolescents, and parents on issues like peer pressure, parenting, depression, anxiety, relationship issues, right? And here she is. She has joined us. So we welcome you, Shritica, ma'am. We were just introducing you.
Okay. We often fall prey to myths about counseling and the process related to it. Also, we tend to forget cultivating our minds for better mental health as we grow and live our life. But how do we get out of myths surrounding us? How do we get to know about the process of counseling? And yes, not to forget, how do we cultivate our minds for better mental health? All these questions will be answered by Shritica ma'am. Ma'am, the session is over to you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so first of all, I would just like to say good afternoon and happy Mental Health Day to all of you out there. I'm sure it's quite intriguing, and you must all of you must be wondering, like, what are some popular myths and what is counseling? So there are two types. Like one, an understanding that you all have, and an understanding of from an expert's point of view. So I'll just share my insights with you since I'm in this field, right? Okay, so let's start with some popular myths. Okay, so one of the most popular myth that we often come across is people often wonder that it is not a big issue. Why should I take counseling? It is such a minor issue. Why I don't need counseling? But I would say why? Why not? It is a minor issue, yes, but it doesn't mean that you don't need counseling, right? So and there are many times when when we feel that I'm strong, I don't need counseling. There are many events that happen in our life that we are experiencing for the first time, and sometimes we exceed our coping resources. We don't know how to deal. It is so unpredictable, it is so challenging that we are just clueless. So why are we afraid to reach out, right? I would say just reach out whenever you feel like you are stuck up, or you need an expert advice, or you need an expert opinion about your issue, right? Okay, the other issue which myth which is again very popular among people is that counseling is just talking. It is just about talking to somebody and just sharing. Well, no. Is a talking therapy. Okay, I think the network issue. Yeah. So so when I'm here as a counselor and you are there as a counselor, you come with your issues and you want to talk it out. We are not just having an informal conversation. You are venting about the issue that you would not go out and share with anybody else out there. Why? Because the fear of the judgment. Why? Because sharing your feelings when you are in a situation where you are so extremely emotionally vulnerable, and talking it out to somebody, anyone, it could be a little bit threatening because of the way they respond. So venting is often seen as a process of dealing with the situation. It is a coping mechanism. When we vent out, we feel distressed. We feel like, oh, it's such a relief. It is same as when we have worked out enough and we feel so much relaxing. So when you are able to vent out, you feel a lot better. And as a counselor, so we all experts, how we help you here? We help you here by responding in a healthy way, by responding in a way which is supported by evidence, by responding in a way that only help you to progress, to move ahead, not to thwart your process or stunt your emotional growth, or just kind of puncture you in that state and you can't really move ahead. Just see yourself. How many times, it is my question to you all, how many times you when you are really stuck up and you have you're going through a very tough situation, how many of you really reach out to your close ones, even your friends, and just share it? Just ask yourself. And when you are able to share it, how many of you feel relieved, or how many of you feel like, no, I think I'm being preached, or I'm being given a lecture about you shouldn't be feeling this way? Oh, why? So what? You are feeling a stress. Everybody goes through it. How many of you feel that rejection? You would feel that it's quite common. That is where a role of an expert comes. Now let me just take you through the process. When we talk about counseling, counseling is a process of change. It is nothing but just a process of change. So when we talk about change, there is what, what is change and how does this change come through counseling. So I will just talk about first what is change. What is change? Changing any unhealth. So there are three aspects. Psychology is a study of human behavior, human emotions, human beliefs, and human mind. What is human mind? Of course, the belief part and the emotions. So change is changing any unhealthy behavior that you may or may not be aware of. Changing an unhealthy, highly distressful emotional pattern that you are stuck up and you would like to get past. Right? Changing an unhealthy thought or belief pattern. That is what is change. So recognizing that pattern and working towards the change, feeling empowered enough to change, is all how counseling looks like. Right? So this is just adding to that, we will move towards the process of change. There are two great psychologists, and they came up with a very interesting activity called Johari window. And so I will just use that activity and just tell you that we have 4 types of cells, four type of parts we have. So one part is that we are completely aware of, like I know about myself and the world knows about me. That is quite your open side, right? Then you have a part of you that you know, a secret self, but others don't know. Then there is a part of you which others know but you don't know, like the way you behave in public. Maybe you're not aware of it, but people, they are consciously aware how you're talking, how you're walking, and so on. And then there's a part of you which you are not aware of, like you don't know, neither does the world know about you. And that is one part that we tap through in this whole process. We learn about that self that you are not aware. We together learn in this process that you're not aware of, that you would like to build that self-awareness, some insight about what kind of pattern you have been following for years but you're not aware of, or maybe you're aware of but don't recognize the need to change, right? So as we grow more aware, as we develop an insight through this process of counseling, we recognize the need to change and feel empowered to change. Now, how could this whole change? I talked about what is change, how the change happens. How could it all happen single-handedly? Like you just sit back and you reflect, okay, this is what I can really change. I am doing it, but I don't feel the motivation. I feel that I don't need to change. I don't have the right motivation. Can you really think that you can do all of it all by yourself? Well, maybe not. If you think you can't, then yes, reach out to us. We are here to help you, right? Okay. Having said that, I would like to take you through one important concept of mental health. People talk about mental health from the perspective of mental illness. You must be talking that it is a mental health day. People must be talking about depression, anxiety, stress. So much to do with, there's so much going on in our life that there is no life left. That's the irony. Life में life ही नहीं रही है. But that is not mental health. Let me just tell you, mental health is not just a state. It is in fact it is a state devoid of mental illness. It is more than that. It is that, of course, that we feel anxiety and it has become a part of our lives, but that is not mental health. Mental health is more than that. So there was a famous psychologist, बहुत सारे psychologists आए, and they talked about, then we have this whole big manual that tell us, okay, this is, we have anxiety, so you have these symptoms of anxiety, but nobody talks about how can you be happy, how can you have a better mental have a better well-being, how can you be more satisfied in life, how can you find meaning in what you are doing. Is it mental health? Yes, it is mental health. And just to give you a tip about how can you cultivate a better mental health, I use this technique called PERMA. So I'll just share the initials: What does it mean? P stands for positive emotions. So take a note of how many times are you experiencing positive emotions throughout a day. A positive emotion is happiness, enthusiasm, completely, getting lost in doing what you are loving, satisfaction. Sometimes it is just like, a sense of bliss, just feeling really relaxed. That is your positive emotion, mood. Take a note how many times you feel happy, how many times you engage in positive mood, in practices which really boost your positive mood. Second is E, PERMA. E is engagement. So we are so much bombarded with social media. We are scrolling. We are doing. We are playing video games. Always glued to Netflix. Because we have been living away from all the social activities like that. But how many of you really feel completely absorbed when you are doing it? Like it's so much engaging that you feel like you're lost. There is no world around you. You are completely absorbed in it. You don't know about your physical surroundings. You don't know about what senses you are using because you're so lost. How many of you have such activities in your life that you are completely absorbed and engaged in? Just take a note. Okay, I'll come to the other aspect, that is our relationship. So in this rat race, a lot of people are just following their ambitions. There is so much of career pressure. I have to do this. I need to really focus on that. How many of you are really working? Let's say I won't even talk about working. How many of you have close relationships that you really value? Quality relationships, not the superficial one, not the one where you just go out and socialize for the sake of being in a group. Quality relationship means emotional support. Quality relationship means to be able to share, to be able to be your true self, to be able to be emotionally vulnerable, to have somebody to talk to feel like, a sense of belongingness. So your family, friends, how many of you have good quality relationships in your life? Take a note. Okay, I'll move to the other one. So we have covered P, E, R, M. Now let's move to M. So I'll come to M. M is meaning. I'm sure it's not really very much alien concept to you. You all we come after a certain age. We all come to a point where we wonder, what meaning are we seeking in our life? Am I doing something really fruitful? Am I doing something that holds any meaning to me? Is it something meaningful? Am I doing what is meaningful to me? A lot of questions really come up, and that is quite important. That's quite basic. If you are engaging in something that doesn't hold any value to you, that doesn't mean anything to you, then you would somewhere end up in that race, like you are running but you don't know where your direction is. It's as simple as that. So ask yourself, if you want to do something in your life, if you are engaging in any extra co-curricular, what meaning does it hold to you? What need is it satisfying? Any need for accomplishment? Need for having a good need for let's say socialize, having social needs? What need is it satisfying? What meaning does it hold for you? So yeah, now the last PERMA, I've just introduced you to this PERMA model. The last one is accomplishment. So accomplishment, sense of accomplishment. Why do you think we all need to feel accomplished? It is a need. If I don't feel accomplished, I may feel like I may feel little. It will impact my self-esteem. I will wonder what is the purpose of my life. But do you think that you need to have a very great accomplishment? You need to accomplish something really huge to feel that sense of accomplishment? No. I would say no. Because in this whole process, in this journey of accomplishing something, of wanting to achieve your goals, you are you are stepping up. You are stepping up the ladder. Recognize each step and take a moment to feel gratitude towards yourself, towards the effort you are putting, towards the resources that you already have, towards the support you are getting from your family and friends. And yes, that's it. All right, so okay, so I have covered up everything. Now let's move to the question part. So please ask me questions you have, and I'm here to give you the right answer, an expert answer.
Vishal Rao has a question, ma'am. What is the root cause of all mental problems, and is there a way to permanently eliminate the chronic mental problems?
Okay, so what is the root cause of mental problems? So mental problems, they, because many factors really influence. You have genetic factors. If you have any issue, any mental illness coming from the family, just like take diabetes. So if any of your parents have diabetes, then you are likely to get. Same way, if anybody who's in the family has a history of mental illness like depression or stress, then you may have, genetically you are predisposed. Then other factors like your childhood. How was your childhood? Was it traumatic? Was it really happy? If I ask you, can you recall experiences, incidences from your childhood? So if you have only painful things to talk about, no good memory, no good time, then it may predispose you. It may predispose you to developing, stress or depression. Second thing, your coping strategies, how your overall outlook, your attitude, your personality factors. These all factors, they come together and decide whether you will even experience any problem while exposed to a stressful event. I hope that satisfies you.
Yeah, I hope it answers this question. Ashley Justin has a question: how to get rid of nihilistic ideas?
How to get okay, so what happens is we are often bombarded with negative ideas. We have a lot of because we are often getting so much of resources, the social media, parents, family, what they are talking. So make sure one of the main factors that you can really ensure is make sure that you have a positive group. You have a positive positivity coming from a group. So if you are really staying, and if you are surrounded with a lot of toxic people who are living off you, lashed to you emotionally, draining you emotionally, then it could feed negative ideas. So make sure that you really have a quality friendships, quality relationships, and have positivity around you, and engage in evidence-based thinking. Like, of course, think more realistically than idealistically. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Aman Kumar Devangan has a question: what if due to some issues I lost my true friends, and just not regretting whole life about it? I can't even take proper sleep. It's just like feels broken in every moment.
Okay, right. I see. I completely understand that grieving and trauma, we say. So this is a very intense process, and it is very debilitating. It is so traumatizing that it often cripples you, and it's so stressful. So the idea is do seek out. We are here to help you out. Why just shun away from counseling? So I would say that there's a stage when we are exposed, when we are met with a very such events like friend losing somebody who's close one to you. Then we often experience denial. We often experience depression, anger. We often question things like why it happened to you. We often like I just said, because this is a very intense process, you as a person has to help yourself through counseling or whatever means. Get an emotional support, talk to people, reach out, try to move towards acceptance about what happened, through counseling, of course, and like I said, positive support, and looking forward to what is next. This takes time. Understand the process, and yeah.
Okay. I hope that answers that question pretty well. Ananya had a question that it's easy for people to say to open up, but the person who is actually dealing with it, it's very hard for them to open up, right? And what if someone doesn't want to share anything with anyone? What? How can you analyze? What's your take on the situation?
Okay, so yeah, it's quite popular. Like people say, ki talk out, open up. But I would say, do you have anybody you feel they won't judge you? Do you have anybody you feel like you can reach out without the fear of that you will be getting any lecture, or you will be judged, or without the feeling that you will be completely responded to in an active way? If you have, please reach out that to that person. It is not important that you talk about your problems to everybody out there, or you be an open book, but at least have one such person, at least have one such friend with whom you could talk out without the fear of judgment. And if you feel that you can't open up, you have really is something you just are not able to open up, do reach out to us. We are the experts. We can help you process it, and we won't judge you for that. Of course, that's why we are here. Yeah. One way I can also suggest you is try to write down or engage in any kind of activity wherein you can really vent out, like writing down or talking about it like to yourself, or using a chair and just doing some role play. So we can introduce such activities. But yes, venting out through diary writing can really help.
Okay, great, ma'am. Yeah. So Sandeep has a question: how do we deal with situations where our loved ones are depressed? How do we comfort them? That's, I guess, like everyone's problem, that these days whatever happening is we are not able to actually confront our friends, families on whenever they are depressed. Like, what should be the first sentence that comes out of our mouth? How can we confront them? So I guess if you can answer that.
Right. Okay, so try not to push them. How would you feel if I say, if you don't want to talk and I'm like consistently pushing you, what happened? Why are you not talking? Why are you behaving like? They know the problem, right? They know they are behaving differently. You don't have to show them that why are you behaving differently. They will feel rejected, more pushy. So the idea is to engage them in a conversation, bring up a normal small talk, or if you are like doing some household goals, try to engage them in your life, whatever you're doing. Switch on a TV, try to engage them in the TV viewing, right? Try to engage them in doing tasks you are doing. As soon as they are engaged, they are feeling more, they would feel better. And if they feel better, if they are engaged, they will be much more willing to talk about it. So try not to be pushy, and try to be more, try to engage. So as a way for them to feel better to open up.
Yes, ma'am. Tanya Thakur has a question. At times, I can't turn off my mind at night. What to do? That's pretty common question. We all are facing this right now, especially in COVID times.
At times, at night. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. At times, I can't turn off my mind at night while sleeping.
Right. It happens a lot. All our thoughts, they tend to rush in through these hours, through these wee hours only. So I would suggest one thing, that try to drain yourself physically. Try to engage in physical activities. So after dinner, try to go for a long walk. Try to use up your physical energy as a way to feel tired and to put yourself to sleep. The other way is to use relaxation, and try to make sure that all the environment should be supportive enough for you to induce sleep. So if you have noises around you, if your light is on, if you are constantly on your phone or reading a book, you won't fall asleep. So first of all, make sure the environment is sleepy. Second, drain your physical energy. Third, use some relaxation. Like when you are about to fall asleep, your muscles begin to feel like, you will feel like less tension around your muscles. Your heartbeat, your physiological activity slows down when you're about to fall asleep. So you can trick your mind by actually slowing down your physiological reactions and responses, like relaxing the muscles and slowing down the heartbeat through some relaxation exercises, then your mind gets signal that it is time to sleep. So if you are practicing it, you must fall asleep within 10 minutes.
Amrita has a question: how to not be easily frustrated? A great question, I guess.
How not to be easily frustrated? Okay, so I'll just tell you that every emotion has a functional base, be it negative, jealousy, frustration, anger. Every emotion serves a purpose. So understand what is causing frustration. And for example, if you want to do something really badly and something is blocking you from doing it, your frustration is likely natural. So don't focus on the frustration part. Try to work on the thing that is causing frustration, that is removing that block. First thing. Second thing, if you are being frustrated because you don't like some attitude or something, understand your personality type and try to work on what is it that is causing frustration. Is it your your inability to take certain inability to take inefficiency? Then work on it. So understand what is the cause and try to understand that frustration is just a result of being blocked from achieving what you want to, your need, right? Yeah.
Ma'am, Seema Mishra has a question: as a housewife, how can I take care of my mental health amidst all the chaos and activities at home?
Right. So I just introduced you to PERMA model. That is a very this model is given by the pioneer of positive psychology called his name is I forgot his name. Yeah, Martin Seligman. Yeah, Martin Seligman. He gave this PERMA model, and क्या था PERMA model? कुछ नहीं है. It's a very simple concept. Have engage in positive emotions. Do you have any activity that you really love? I like to play with my dogs because it just makes me so happy. I like to see my children play because it makes me so happy. Do you how many just take a note how many times or how many minutes in a day you are happy or you are engaging in positive emotions. Positive emotions कहाँ से आएंगी? Positive activities से. Second, relationships. Focus on the relationships, quality relationships. Build if you don't have. Engagement. Be find something that you really get absorbed in completely. Be it coloring, dancing. So me time is very very important. If you're a housewife, it is okay. 1 घंटा अपने लिए निकालो और जो आपको पसंद है वो करो. आपका स्ट्रेस कम होगा. स्ट्रेस जाएगा नहीं, कम होगा. आपकी कोपिंग बढ़ेगी, कोपिंग स्किल्स बढ़ेगी. जो भी आप whatever stress you're going through, because it is very difficult to be a parent. I completely understand.
Ma'am, I hope that answers the question. Last question of the day. Apurva asks, how to deal with traumas if you have perpetually received them?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sure, ma'am. How to deal with the traumas if you have perpetually received them?
Yes. Oh, okay. So what happens is it depends, like whether the trauma is predictable. Like whenever you're going through any painful event, if the event is predictable, if you know that it is going to happen, you can deal better. But if it is quite unpredictable, like in case of road accident or something that happened and you're completely unprepared for it, then it takes some time. And as I said, that trauma is just a response to a psychological pain. There is not just physical pain, there is a psychological pain as well. Trauma is just a response to that psychological pain incurred on you by any unfortunate event. So rejecting trauma or rejecting your painful emotion can really heighten your emotion. It can just accelerate. It can in fact make the whole process very stressful for you. So accept that it is okay. It is okay to feel not okay. It is okay to cry. It is okay to fall down. Be there, and then it is okay to look forward. But it is okay. Acceptance is the key. Yes.
Ma'am, that's the end of the questions, I guess. So thank you so much, ma'am. A really, really great session. Thank you so much for your time. The half an hour means a lot, really a lot to us. I hope all our viewers gained a lot of experience from you, and thank you to our viewers as well, and you as well who came on a weekend. To be very honest, for this session. So yeah, I hope it was really great for everyone. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for having me here, and
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you for having me here. All right. Good luck, everyone.
Issue to you. Please do like, share, and subscribe.
Also, we have a Google form in the description below. That Google form is a better understanding on what topics you might want next to have sessions on, or do you like the session, what was wrong, what was right about it. We have our application coming really soon on Play Store, so stay tuned to Avasar.life. Do subscribe the channel. We'll have all the details on how to use the application, what to do, what not to do. We have really great talks coming up. We have a very recent video by our first speaker, Sandhya ma'am, coming up this week. So stay tuned, and also do fill the form so that we have knowledge and we can reach out to you whenever we have any updates for you. Also, the links to our Facebook channels, Instagram channels, and LinkedIn pages are there. Do like them and be happy. Stay joyful, stay safe, take care. Bye.